Hello, everybody. My name is Roy Varney. I'm TRTA's multimedia specialist. It looks like Tim is having a little bit of a technical difficulty connecting right now. I'm going to wait just a few minutes to have him try to reconnect. There he is. I'm going to add him back in. Thank you for your patience. All right. I think we may be having another technical difficulty. Tim, is your audio connected? Because I cannot hear you. Again, audience, we apologize for the technical issue. As you can see, we're working a little bit remotely here. Oh, I think I can hear you now, Tim. Yep, you're on. You're on. I'm going to remove myself now.
All right. Well, everybody, we're so glad to be here, and we're so glad to say that we're back and that we're actually working. So it just goes to show that this is a live video. And sometimes when you go with a live video, some things happen and you just roll with it. So, I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad that we have a great audience with us today. But I'm going to start with some introductions, and I want to start by introducing our TRTA Board of Directors. Just so you know the background of this, we are actually at the TRTA District President's Leadership Conference. And we've been spending so much of our time preparing for and getting ready for this great campaign that we are launching officially today. But I couldn't do any of this without our TRTA volunteers and our leaders. And so I wanted to introduce the person who's sitting next to me. Most of you probably know. This is Marcy Can. Marcy is the president of TRTA. And we're going to introduce the rest of the board members, and the people behind us are going to stand so that you can see them. But the first person that I will introduce is not here, and that's Leroy DeHaven. I'm sure Leroy is watching. Leroy is back at Corpus, in Corpus, and we just want to say hello to Leroy and hope that you are doing well. Then I want to introduce Ella Gaucher. Ella standing up? Yes. All right. There she is. All right. That's the problem. I'm not looking at the screen, so I'll look at the screen a little bit. All right. So there's Ella, and then we have Franna Patterson. There's Franna. Terry Nabercall. Hello, Terry. We're going to introduce our District President's Council. The first is Gary Shep. He's from District 10. Then we have Nancy Evans is from District 19. And Karen Holscher is from District 15. And our legislative coordinator, Mary Widmeyer, is right there. And I'm going to introduce our TRTA district presidents. District 1, we have Amparo Gutierrez. Then we have District 2, which is Linda DeHaven. She is not here. Hello, Linda. Hope you're doing well. And District 3 is Robin Medding. And District 4 is Rosalind Haynes, or sometimes we say Rosalind too around here. District 5 is Lynn James. Hello, Lynn. And District 6 is Judy Thomas. All right. District 7 is Marilyn Williams. District 8 is Andy Kirby. District 9 is Vicki Dillard. District 11 is Rachel Gasperson. District 12 is Joanna Sugg. District 13 is Jean Stokes. District 14 is Ruth Stewart. District 16 is Charla Overton. District 17 is Judy Kennedy. District 18 is Shirley Johnson. And District 20 is Dr. Amy Jo Baker. And I'm sure that all of you at home know the reason that I skipped several of those districts is because those districts are actual board members on our TRTA Board of Directors. All right, so the lights are back on, and it is warm in here again, right, Marcy? Yes. Yeah. So we're so glad to be back. As you all know, starting our campaign to win the cost of living adjustment for our retirees starts today, and we have a lot of information and items planned. Information that we want to bring to you, but really we wanted to show the representation of TRTA leadership that is going to be working on this. Our district presidents, as I said, are already planning, thinking of ways that we are going to make sure that our members are involved, but also to make sure that people that are not TRTA members are getting involved. And we're going to talk about some of those plans today. But one of the major items that we want to talk about is the calendar of events, Roy, not just yet, but we're going to go through a calendar. And one of the things, Marcy, that I know that you and I have talked a lot about is that the time horizon for us to work on this COLA, we're really getting ahead of the ball game here in July.
Yes.
And so if you think about it, really the legislative session goes from January until the end of May, which is about 5 months. And where we are today in July until the election time is about 5 months. And so one of the things that we have to keep in mind is the pace. This is not a sprint. This is definitely a marathon. And so I know that our plans are going to be really rolled out in stages and work that we're going to be doing. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. And so we want to make sure that everybody is going to keep paying attention to this and not getting ahead.
Right. Stay where we are and do what we're doing right now.
Yep. Progress is going to ramp up over time. And one of the things that is really going to be important is when we actually know the number that our constitutional amendment or the proposition is going to appear on the ballot. We don't know that yet. As a matter of fact, some of you that are following legislative activities know that the legislature is still meeting right now. And today and yesterday, there've been announcements about things that are happening in the special session related to property taxes, and that may have their own constitutional authorizations. And so that work is going to kind of filter into the activities of the state. And so, Roy, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the calendar by showing some folks the plans that we have coming up in July. Obviously, TRTA is planning right now with our district presidents. That conference is going on. We have our districts, and our legislative conference is going to be happening in about a week. We've got our legislative committee coming in to help plan. So a lot of planning is going on in July. A lot of our communication to our district leaders, to our statewide leaders, is all happening this month. Organization, planning, prep, all of that has been underway. Actually, it's been underway, I think, Marcy, really since the end of May.
Right.
And so, but a lot of it is being developed right now. And we have some of that we're going to show you later on in this presentation. Then we go to August, and August is a big month. This is when the ballot drawing will occur with the Secretary of State's office. We don't know the exact date. We've heard sometime maybe around August 9th. But again, take that with a bit of a grain of salt, because when that drawing actually occurs is not up to us. It's up to when the Secretary of State plans for it. And so as soon as we know that, it'll be really full steam ahead, because at that point in time, we'll know when that number is.
Mm-hmm. We'll have that number.
Yep. And which will be so vital to how we plan the rest of our communication once we know what number we actually appear on the ballot. Obviously, schools are back in session, and I'm going to talk a little bit about work that we're doing with schools and with TRTA local chapters. But let's kind of fast forward some to September, Roy. So as we get later into September and October is when y'all are going to start seeing more of the activity being visible in traditional media, print media, social media, newspaper announcements published by the Secretary of State. Again, this process is very new to us in this organization. We've never really had to work on a constitutional amendment to get a cost of living adjustment. And so we may follow this because we follow constitutional amendments, but we've really kind of been digging into what happens with these amendments. And part of the statutory provisions that exist on constitutional amendments say that 50 to 60 days before the election, the Secretary of State will provide information to media to announce what these amendments are, and they'll be printing some information about what they all are doing. And there will be a number of amendments. Ours is one of any number of ones that'll show up on the ballot. But in September, we also have a lot of our chapters that are meeting again. The fall activities are really ramping up. Chapters will be encouraged to submit letters to the editor, and we'll talk more about that as time goes on. Chapters will continue to visit with schools and groups that are like-minded and trying to help us. Let's go into October. October really does come crunch time because you have a couple of important dates in October. October 10th is the last day to register to vote. And so we're going to really be working on a get out the or register to vote campaign. And then just short 13 days later, you have the beginning of early voting. And early voting will go from October 23rd until, does it go into November? Roy, show me November. Yeah, early voting goes from the 23rd until November 3rd, and then you have Election Day on November 7th. The one thing I didn't point, Roy, you can come off that calendar. The one thing that I did not point out during this discussion is that, again, every Tuesday, every second Tuesday, I should say, not every Tuesday, Marcy, that'd probably kill me. But every second Tuesday, we will be doing a social media live event, and then I will be on a fall speaking tour all over the state of Texas, along with some of our officers. We'll be going to district meetings and really rallying the vote. And I'll talk again about that in just a few minutes. But instead of just hearing from me today, I wanted to introduce some of our leaders that are here who have provided some insight on how they are going to be working and what they are doing and what this cost of living adjustment may mean for them and kind of the voice and the role that TRTA plays as an organization in working to achieve this major goal. So Roy, let's queue up Gary Shep as our first video. I think that was first in the queue. And when you're ready, just roll it.
To answer the call. The Retired Teachers Association, Texas Retired Teachers Association. They are the voice for us as retirees. They are helping us. They are the ones that know what we need, and they are the voice we have in Austin to guide us, direct us, and support us.
Gary is such a great advocate and spokesperson and chair of the District President's Council, and such a great, valuable member on our board of directors, has worked with many other organizations, and is just one of our exceptional leaders that we have with TRTA, talking about, our voice and our importance and the role that we are going to play, that all of us collectively will play in representing this issue. We also had a chance to sit down and talk to Dr. Amy Jo Baker from District 20.
I want the public to know that the TRTA members that are seeking this constitutional amendment, we're your neighbors, your friends, your family. We're we the people. And there are 130,000 members of TRTA who have $1,000 or less that they live on. So it's an economic survival security issue. And we need to ask all of the people to support this amendment because it's long overdue and it's an economic necessity, a matter of survival for many people.
And as we're getting ready to hear from Karen's video, Roy, just 1 second on that. I was really struck by Karen's view of not only working on the COLA, again, a more recent retiree, but someone who has really taken on a leadership role with the organization, really fired up about the voice that this organization is going to have in this process. Roy, go ahead and roll Karen's.
Well, I've been retired for 10 years, so I'm considered one of the younger of the retirees, but in my district and area, there are many retirees that have been working for 19 plus years to get a COLA. TRTA is the advocate for all of the retirees for the state of Texas, and we work hard for each and every individual member, whether they're part of TRTA or not. We're there and we're their advocate.
Yeah, well said. And Roy, hold on to the next one just for a second, because Marcy, I want to kind of talk to you. You've been part of this process for a long time. You've worked on the legislative committee. You've worked as a district president. You've been an officer. I mean, we've been working on this for at least 10 years. So tell us a little bit about the work that you've seen this organization put forward and what we've been able to accomplish.
It is really very rewarding to see not only what people are doing today, but what people have been doing for the last 10 or 12 years. Our members have worked as a network within the groups of retired teachers, but in their communities. This is a major victory for all retired teachers, but only a final victory if everyone votes on November the 7th. But we have our local chapters are working hard, our districts, everyone has been working so hard, and just so happy that we have reached this point, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, and I thought those videos were pretty good. Didn't y'all think those were pretty good? Yeah. So we have a couple others. I know that we sat down and talked to Lynn James, who's one of our district presidents, about what it would mean to have a big voter turnout and support. Not just us, but having a big turnout from the state come out and support this special amendment, this cost of living adjustment for retirees. Roy?
Well, in the first place, a win would show our legislators and future legislators that people of Texas appreciate their teachers, their retired teachers, and it also would be a good message to send to future teachers that legislators and the public do appreciate Texas teachers.
Yeah, I don't think I could have said that better myself. We want to win, and we want to win big. And my view on this is I think similar to a lot of you. While we may not have wanted to have to go through this process, we're here now, and I can't promise the outcome. I don't think anybody can. What I will promise is that the effort that we put into it is one that is determined to win and to represent this organization in the best way that we can, and to really impress upon all of those that are set to receive the COLA that we're working on their behalf. And as Lynn said a few seconds ago, we not only want to win right now, but we want to leave an impression with our elected officials, because we know, Marcy, there were some folks that didn't get the COLA or wouldn't get the COLA in this. And we worked tirelessly to try to expand that COLA to everybody. We know that everybody is affected by inflation. And so this is not the end of a process. This is simply the next step. And we're going to continue to advocate for all of our members, current members, future members, and future retirees to make sure that this organization is the voice and is working to achieve great results for the retirement security of all of our TRS retirees. And there's someone who's very special in the audience, and I did record a message because she was such an instrumental part of our legislative activity, and that's Dr. Mary Widmeyer, who is our legislative coordinator, and she has some special views that I wanted her to share with you all as well.
For one, it's really going to put us in the public eye. I mean, we're going to have a constitutional amendment. We've never had that in the history that I've known, with either being a classroom teacher, an administrator before I retired, or since I've been retired. This is a historic thing, and so it's going to be really putting us in the public eye for sure. So people who are not our members already, who are educators, should definitely get on the bandwagon. You know, come with us. You know, we're really a moving organization, and we take great pride in getting things done for our members. I think the general public would really welcome being a member, because we do a lot of things too, not just for legislative wise, you know, just enjoying your retirement, serving in your communities, being a supportive person where you live.
Yeah, the number of hours that Mary put into this effort, I lost track. And so she's such a strong advocate for all of our organizational members and all retirees. And I really take to heart her words of wisdom about trying to get other people involved. And so while that video is playing, I took a look at some of the comments, and I'll look at some of the comments in just a minute. But one of them that I saw is, you know, what can we as the TRTA members really do to get involved? And Marcy, I know that we've got some things planned, but did you want to add something about that?
I was just going to say, I know all of us want to get involved right now. For me, I'm trying to think about the different groups of people who are not retirees that I'm going to see, particularly in September and October, when I know the number of our proposal, so I can say, it is so good to see you. Will you vote for?
I think that there's a couple of great messages in there, who you're talking to, the circles of folks that you're going to be engaging with. But again, we want to emphasize that there is something about making sure that your timing is right. And so the first thing that you can do, that you are doing, is that you're engaged in this process, and that you are an advocate and a leader, and that you know that right now everybody's on vacation. I think, again, we're a little bit ahead of schedule because we plan and we get ready, and no teacher ever showed up to the classroom without doing a whole lot of prep during the summer months, which is what we're doing. And we are preparing, and again, we've got a plan. And it's going to be a statewide plan that will involve all of our members in getting them ready to advocate and promote. We kind of move, but we're going to be talking about that even right now. And so I wanted to give you all a bit of a glimpse as to what the future plan will really entail and the work that is going to be happening. And I'd love to be able to put these things in your hands right now. But again, I have to just reinforce the timing is going to get a whole lot better once we know that we have an actual number. We can say, well, let's vote for that constitutional amendment on the cost of living adjustment. Or we can say, vote for Proposition 2 or, whatever the number is on the ballot. It just gets a whole lot easier. And even in statewide elections and things that are going on, if I'm running for office, most people are not paying attention until about September. And we'll, again, be doing a whole lot of work before then with everyone who's watching this and all of our leaders that are engaged in TRTA. And if you are watching this and you are not yet a TRTA member, my ask to you is please join this organization. We really put a tremendous amount of effort into winning and representing your interests. And so if you're not yet a member, please join. If you're not yet a member of a local chapter, my comment is I think you're missing out, because you're really going to enjoy getting to know new people and networking and getting involved. And what an opportunity. Mary said it best. I was with my friends with a Delta Kappa Gamma just a couple of weeks ago. And I think I made the comment to them, if you are still sitting on the sidelines waiting for an opportunity to get involved, I don't know what you're waiting for, because now we need you. We really do need you to be a part of this outreach effort. So let me touch some on what we are going to be doing. It's not all of what we're going to be doing. It's just a glimpse of what we are going to be working on in our statewide campaign. We're going to be developing talking points. We're going to be developing a 3x5 card that maybe you can download off our website or that you can keep on your phone. It'll have a QR code, lots of different ways for you to have it. And it'll just give, those sound bites, 3 or 4 sound bites that will be so important that if you are talking to a friend or a neighbor, colleague, a fellow retiree, an active teacher, maybe you have someone, Marcy, I tell you, I was contacted so many times during the legislative session about a news reporter whose mother is a retired teacher. And so she saw on Facebook that this thing was going on, and all of a sudden they're calling me and saying, hey, what do we need to know? And it's that 3 or 4 pieces of information that we're wanting to make sure that all of our members have.
Exactly.
So we're working on that. We're going to have sample letters to the editor. And so, and there have already been some that have been written. And I so appreciate those that have been put out there. Some of our elected officials are writing letters to newspapers and so on, but we're going to have some samples that you will be able to download off of our website that you can model your letters on. And we're going to kind of let you all know when that time is going to be there to put that out there. We're going to be organizing media outreach and working with districts and chapters to get information in traditional media and new media sources. Mostly Facebook, Twitter, all of those sources that we're using. LinkedIn, I'm sure some of you still use LinkedIn, but social media is critical to getting this message out. One of our retirees had a great idea, Marcy, about having some folks ready on a certain day, and we're going to organize this a little bit, but everybody posts the same social media, Facebook, item on the same day at the same time.
And Get the message
and
out.
get the message out. So I love that idea. Some of you probably have some suggestions of your own, and I've encouraged you in the past, send them to me, tim@trta.org. If you've got a comment or suggestion about getting organized, or if you've got a question, send it to me. We'd love to talk about it. But that's not it. We're also going to be doing outreach to TRTA members, potential members, to get involved and get connected to our TRTA at the state and the local level. We're going to be connecting with our legislative friends. As I said a few minutes ago, I've already started to see a lot of our friends in the legislature have reached out to me personally. I've seen one article already in a newspaper just this week about why one of our state reps voted for this. I think it was Andrew Murr who wrote this article and submitted it to some of the Hill Country newspapers, and was talking about why this was such an important vote for him to take. And actually used our TRTA bulletin, referencing points that we made in our TRTA newsletter as to how it will help so many people. So we're going to be connecting with our elected officials. And then I mentioned also that we're going to be communicating with like-minded groups. One of our district presidents, Dr. Baker, again, talked to me earlier about a city council. I think it's a San Antonio City Council that was wanting to pass a resolution saying that they supported this effort to get retirees a COLA. And so some of those talking points will help you reach out to groups or other government entities that would have an interest in this, and saying, hey, we'd love to see retired teachers get this cost of living adjustment. It's only been, I think, 10 years for some, and most people
longer.
have never had a raise. It is appropriate to say and right to say that most retirees today have never had a cost of living adjustment. And so this is a big deal, and a lot of groups are going to want to help us try to win this. And last but not least is that there is going to be, as I mentioned earlier, it's kind of a fall campaign. And I have in my notes right now, in my head, I'm calling it TRS Retirees, It's Time. Rally to vote, win the COLA, and build the future success. And so I'm going to go to as many local and district meetings as I can. And I think that between August 17th, 16th, 17th, somewhere in that time frame, until November 7th, I will be on the road. And so we'll be putting out a schedule as soon as we can. And if you're close to that area, or if you want to get involved, we're going to try to get you information so that you can get connected to these local chapters and stay involved and be ready to rally, because we want to see a big voter turnout. So, Marcy, what am I leaving out?
I think you've got everything. The only thing to remember when you're talking to people, remember that every legislator that was there voted for this. All of the House, all of the Senate are sponsors of the bill. So we have support of the legislature. We want to take advantage of that and let them know that we appreciate that. And we hope that they're doing what others are doing, and will get their word out about how much they support us.
Absolutely. I can't think of too many things in government where everyone in both parties vote yes in favor of something. I mean, it surely does. I don't think that happens in Congress ever.
I don't think so.
But it doesn't happen all that often in the Texas legislature either. But we are so proud to say and to recognize that our elected officials unanimously supported the efforts to make this happen. And so many of them are already talking about how they too want to be involved during fall, if they ever get out of a special session.
That's true.
Presuming that they're not in special session during an election. But we know that they're going to want to help, and we know that they're going to want to be involved. So let's take those opportunities to try to promote that as well. That being said, we do want to show you our first publicized piece, and I'm going to have our organization is going to send out an e-newsletter. If you're new to TRTA, you may not have heard about it yet, but it's called The Inside Line. And we're going to have a brief recap of this Facebook and YouTube event, social media live event. And I'm going to make this poster available to folks through The Inside Line. It's just the first piece that we're producing around our campaign. Roy, why don't you go ahead and put that on the screen so our folks can see it? And because of the way that this is just showing up in the screen, we're going to have to scroll down a little bit. But if you're looking at it You can see that it's very eye-catching, lots of good color that's going on here. But the message really is that TRS cost of living adjustment, or COLA, requires voter approval this November. Let's pass the word and pass the TRS COLA. And in the middle section, the big clear message is that Texas retired school employees, this is a voter alert. Early voting begins October 23rd. Roy, scroll down a little bit. And here are some items that you can do to be ready or to get involved. And you can be ready, you can be informed, and you can get involved. We got two great websites that we want to kind of point out to our folks. One of them is trta.org/COLA-FAQ, and you'll be able to log on that. I'm going to have Roy show that picture in just a second, but not right now. But another one that we really want to promote is that the TRS, Teacher Retirement System in Texas, has a great page about the cost of living adjustment and the supplemental payments. And we're going to be promoting that as well. It's a great place for you to get information about the supplemental payments that are coming, as well as the COLA work that is being done. And then the big check boxes that you see on this piece, the TRS retirees of Texas are checking the boxes and making a plan to vote this fall. Here's what you need to know. And then you've got some big yeses here. Yes, this is TRTA endorsed. I may talk about that in just a second. Yes, it has unanimous support in the Texas legislature. And yes, we want you to vote for the cost of living adjustment on November 7th, 2023. All right, Roy, come off of that screen just for a second. Those of you that have been TRTA members for a long time, you know that we are a not-for-profit organization that is bipartisan, nonpartisan, whichever term you want to use. We work with everybody. We don't get involved in campaigns by making endorsements. On this particular issue, though, our board is working hard to send the message that we do endorse this cost of living adjustment and passing the constitutional amendment when it comes up in November. And so that's language that you may not hear very often out of TRTA, but we're going to take every step necessary to make sure that we can use the phrase endorse this COLA, and we're backing it. And so you'll be able to share that with your friends and family and colleagues as we promote this messaging into the coming days, weeks, and months. We're wrapping up here. And I know that everybody behind me is probably ready to get out of this room because it got warm in here, didn't it? We've been in this hotel conference room for the last 2 days, and everybody's been talking about how cold it is in here. And apparently the only thing we needed to do to warm it up was put a camera in front of everybody and turn on a bunch of lights. And so I feel like we're ready to end. But Roy, one of the things that we've done to sort of emphasize the time frame here, and I think, Roy, you're ready to pull this up, but on our FAQ page, we have something that's kind of fun and that you can keep an eye on. Roy, can you show us that? We have a countdown clock to be a reminder that we are still 118 days away from when this election starts taking place. It does not mean that we are going to sit on our hands and not do anything for the next 118 days. We're going to use every single one of those days. And Roy, you can come off of that countdown clock. We're going to use every single one of these days that we've got between where we are right now until Election Day, and all of these folks behind me and all the folks that are working behind the scenes and the leaders in this organization, the TRTA staff, the board of directors, all of us are going to be promoting a message of unity, of positivity, that we are going to win. If you are one of the TRTA members who is thinking, you know what, the reason the legislature did it in this amendment process is so that it may not happen, that is absolutely not the messaging that we are sending. We are going to win. The real issue is by how much are we going to win by? And that is that's the number that we're going to be really looking at as we get towards the end of the election. But Marcy, any words of wisdom you want to close us out on?
I'll just say that we're ready. We're starting. We know where we are now, and we're going to follow this timeline. You're going to visit with Tim on the second Tuesday of the month. You're going to check your emails. And if there's anybody that doesn't vote, you are really going to have the worst attention you have ever had. So I just want you to know that. So everybody get out, be prepared, be ready, so that in September we can really hit the ground and talk to all of our friends.
Absolutely. And I just want to say that I know a lot of you are leaving comments, and because of the little bit different setup that we have today, I'm going to go back and read those comments, and I'll reply to the ones that we need to reply to. My TRTA team will also be replying in the comments section, and I'm going to try to do that as soon as this video is over. So if you're still logging in and watching on social media, try to keep an eye out for the comments, because I'm going to try to answer some of those now so that you all know that we're not ignoring you. It's just, it's such a different setup that we have today. It's too difficult for me to kind of follow those comments, but you're so important to us, and your information that you're sharing with us is so vitally important. And I want to make sure that we're respecting what you're putting on the social media, and that we're replying to you in due course. And so with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We are gearing up, getting ready. We're going to win. We are going to win big, and we're going to work real hard. My hope is that while we may, again, not have wanted to go through this, it gives us such a great opportunity to send a message to our elected officials that people support our TRS retirees, and that more people will learn about this organization and start working with us so that we can achieve even bigger results in the legislative process and in Congress as we're working on our federal issues as well. So with that, y'all have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you.